Alright, so hello YouTube, we're back with kind of another channel update plus some bonus material. I'm going to go over, not the trial itself, but I go on Twitter sometimes, not as much as I used to ever since Nick Quintus got banned, and some of the statements people make, I just find hysterical, and so I'll just be going over them, laughing at them, and assertively criticizing them angrily, I guess, but I'm going to address the recent Zoomernat comebacks. For those who are unaware, Zoomernat placed me in charge, alongside this guy named Benster, props to him as well, he's a good guy, in charge of ZNN. And for those who don't know what ZNN is, ZNN is Zoomer News Network. And Zoomernat, for those who are unaware, although I'm pretty sure I went over this in my last video, was a YouTuber that went and did these podcasts and interviews and like basically did all these videos on the internal works of America First. So he took a break for about 5 or 6 months, placed me in charge, and I started up my own channel in the process, which is what this channel is. And anyways, he made an early return. He has reacquired ownership of his server, and we recently spoke. And he said because my content is just so great, sarcastically. Anyway, he said I could eventually go over his channel. Maybe it's a big maybe, but it's also a possibility starting around Christmas time. And if that happens, then I will turn this channel into a gaming channel for like, me trying to stream and doing some casual stuff. And then the other channel will be some serious formal interviewing and podcasting and more political topics. So that's kind of the plan. Other than that, we've just been doing some trolling. He uploaded a video recently and I was in it where I'm just freaking out over his return because I was surprised. I'm like, wait, Zoomernat is back? And I kind of introduced him all the chaos going on in the server. But anyways, so the bonus content is going to be reviewing the comments on the trial from Twitter because I read these and I really want to respond to these people and just roast them because it's hysterical how tens of thousands of people will upvote these statements, and I just really want to tear them down. But I've been watching the actual trial itself for the past couple of hours. I also watched the New York rally, and it really boils my blood because this is a kid. He was like 16, 17, defended himself, which is beyond evident. It's obvious. It's beyond evident that this kid did this. But in this 2021 world, the opposition on the left will inevitably portray it with their hardcore propagandist media that it was not self-defense. That the three people were heroes and they were the victims, and Rittenhouse is just a mass shooter which makes no sense. If you look at any of the videos of Rittenhouse, he's going around saying medic, and he even said in the trial that he was a neutral source. But before I spurg out on Kyle Rittenhouse, um, I really just want to get out there and defend him. Obviously, I can't. I wasn't at the actual event, but watching it makes me want to go up there and speak for like 5 hours on why he's not guilty, which will never happen. But stuff like that really inspires me to make these kind of videos. So here we are. So on Twitter, I remember there was like one of these topic things where I clicked on victims and all these stupid posts popped up. I clicked on guilty instead. So let's just go through these real quick, see if any of these are pretty good. I feel Rittenhouse will be found not guilty and he'll probably do it again. I mean, the guy has PTSD though. If you looked in the actual video of the trial, he was breaking down when he was describing the events of what happened. They make it look like that he's going to have these great ambitious goals when evidently he doesn't want to do it again. He wasn't passive. He has a very assertive approach to the trial, but it's evident that post the event he was in shock. Post the event, maybe I don't know if he had regret, but it's just evident that he doesn't have the ambition to go out and just kill people, considering his reaction to everything. Now, with me, and I'm not saying I'm going to go out and kill people, but if I was in his shoes and I went to that trial, I would have been on a very sort of aggressive approach. And then they'd have a fair point saying, oh, maybe Aleczaender would do it again. Okay, with me on trial, maybe that... Not that I would do something that intentionally, but I'm just saying, with someone like Kyle Rittenhouse, no, of course not. That's evident. With someone maybe like me, maybe if like this was Nick Fuentes, someone make a very fair point saying it would be maybe they do it again, right? Because I mean, killing pedophiles based, a little base department. I'd say that's pretty based. Let's see what this guy says. So Rittenhouse was celebrating he didn't do it. Go to a page of any right-wing nut job and search BLM to see how they've whatever this guy's grammar is, it's complete dog shit. How been radicalized and how often they dehumanize protesters and how bloodthirsty they are to kill BLM protesters. He's obviously guilty. What's this picture he has here? The OK sign? Are they trying to say that the OK sign's a white supremacist symbol still? That bullshit? Well, anyways, like I said with the last guy, they're trying to portray a Carl Rittenhouse as this mass murdering scumbag with inhibition. Again, it's hysterical. The guy was going out, LARPing, well, I don't want to be harsh on the kid. He was going out as an EMS, okay, saying he was an EMS, helping people on both sides. And he had the gun for self-defense protection. Because obviously, both sides could probably admit that any of these quote-unquote protests or riots, as I would say, are going to be pretty radical. You're going to have harm going on, and that anyone can admit that. Freaking Antifa could admit that. Anyone on the far left could admit that. And obviously, carrying a gun for that measure is not a dumb decision. It's not an idiotic move by that own nature. Moving on. Again, this guy didn't go there flaunting anything to do with the right. I'm not saying Howard Rittenhouse is a centrist. He was with the police force, blah, 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 blah. But he obviously had a very neutral view, or at least he claimed to from start to finish on everything. There was no videos before or after that showed any political biases. The fact that they try to frame him as a right-winger is, again, it's hysterical. I mean, coming from someone that's a America First populist that's on the dissident right, that being myself, obviously, Kyle does not seem anything to do with the right wing. Like I said before, if it was me, if it was Nick, if it was anyone else from the distant right or whatever right wing on trial, it would have been so evident. But this Kyle Rittenhouse guy, obviously, this kid, you don't have that same vibe. You don't get this vibe that he's this like, ultra-based nationalist. And the fact that the left is portraying this way is also kind of stupid. I think they were trying to focus more on an attack on the Second Amendment, but the fact that they were attacking Kyle Rittenhouse himself is kind of an unproductive strategy on the left's part, because, again, he has done nothing except wield a gun, which is of the Second Amendment, to represent in self-defense, obviously, I guess, the right wing, at least on the quote-unquote radical nutjob right wing. In fact, the 3 guys he killed were white at the BLM protests. None of them were any symbolic, notable figures that the left could have used to defend their greater ideology, right? I think it's a waste of time for the left to get all mad about the trial and Rittenhouse. And I think the only thing they could attack is the Second Amendment, which is pointless anyway, but to attack on because it was self-defense. If he was shooting up the entire city, then sure, but there's no way you can make it seem that way with a narrative. And if they do, well, great job. You've just mastered a propaganda state worse than North Korea if you've managed to convince everyone that it was a mass shooting. So I doubt that will happen. If it does, I won't be surprised, but I will be somewhat shocked. When idiots like Kyle Rittenhouse, I've seen this person before, think they're handed a case, they aren't quite as prepared to testify when they're guilty now, are they? Prosecutor ripping a hole in the story. When idiots like Kyle Rittenhouse think they're handed a case, they aren't quite as prepared. What is she talking about?
Fair to say that after the police
I'm not going to watch
pushed
a 2-minute video.
Everybody south of 60th,
like
you
seconds.
never saw any people threatening that property, correct?
I didn't see anybody.
And your goal that night, you took it upon yourself to protect the 59th Street property, correct?
The owners asked.
Yeah.
Sure. But you were going to station yourself at that property to try and protect it from damage. Fair?
The car source locations, yes.
And once the police had pushed everybody south of that, there was no more danger.
At that car source location, yes.
Okay. So
I don't know what this bitch is talking about, because I'm looking at this. He's responding perfectly fine.
why not go home at that point?
Oh, it's because he paused for like 10 seconds.
Because the police were still pushing people back, and then they were backing up, and I was still helping.
He hesitates for 10 seconds. That means he's not ready. He's not prepared. Out of the 2 hours, 4 hours he's been on trial, this is concrete evidence this
People
guy is an
provide
idiot.
medical
He's
first aid.
unprepared. This is guilty.
Okay, so the police had established the line at 60th with their Bearcats at that point, right?
That's the thing about the left, and when people are wrong, the emphasis on these small little details get their point across. Oh, he paused for 20 seconds. Meanwhile, the right, or rather the defense, what they have against the prosecution's argument is way bigger. Like when the witness that the prosecution brought admitted it was in self-defense. That's what the defense is emphasizing on. And what the offense or the freaking prosecution is focusing on, at least people like this idiot Kate, it's like, oh, well, there was a pause of 10 seconds, that's guilty. If I was any rational human being, I understand who is more right in that case. That's disgusting. I don't know what that is. The real guilty ones. Oh, this is based. This goes on about what these people are. This is burglar. This guy's an assault. This guy's a pedophile. I think he like hit up a 14-year-old girl or something like that. I'm not even sure. Alive, facing his charges. Yeah. And I mean, that's the other thing too, is why is the left defending these three? They're white guys. They're not. If they were black guys, it make half sense why they'd be defending them. But they're defending a pedophile, a burglar, and a guy that has domestic abuse. This guy would be the opposite of a feminist, FYI. And, I mean, so would this guy, obviously. I mean, a pedophile also is basically abusive. Whatever. Point being, is none of these guys are once, like I said before, symbolism of the left. And this just shows how dumb the left is. They have no real plan or no real strategy or tactic. They have so much incompetency, and yet they they don't prevail. It's more or less the fact that subversion is their tool and weapon. And by making people dumber, by making them less intellectual, they don't prevail, but it's in their favor. From the looks of it, anyways. I mean, I can never understand why someone's a leftist. I've never understood the goal. If there's like a even deeper meaning to it, that. So I just don't understand why people would defend these three people over the sake of attacking the Second Amendment. This is like, if they want to use this case to say, oh, this is why the Second Amendment is a bad amendment or whatever. This is the worst case to do it. This is a self-defense case. You'd rather wait till another mass shooting by these false flag attacks to do something like that. It just is mind-boggling how incompetent the left is. It's really a shame. The left could have been useful for being pawns in any future opposition against the government. Instead, here they are crying about the exact amendment that will help them take down the system. It's so unfortunate. It's such a tragedy, but that's the reality we live in. Huh? You realize the whole goal of the media is a Rittenhouse trial. We'll do this for another 5-10 minutes, and then I'm going to work out for like an hour, and then hang out with my church friends. So, guys, the whole goal of the media in the Rittenhouse trial is to move public opinion to guilty to proven innocent, and to yeah, that's what. I didn't even read that properly. Whole goal of the media, yeah, that's pretty much the demonized self-defense, right? You get that guilty and ruin innocent lack of gun rights breeds totalitarian governments, right? Yeah. This judge made up his mind long before the casino trial. He will do and is doing everything in this power to exonerate a murderer. Oh yeah, a murderer that killed a pedophile, which is biblically and also generally on a moral basis based. Burglar and a domestic abuser, which again, you'd think that these people would be against these types of people. For whatever reason, these leftists, I don't never understand why they're just so dumb. It's so mind-boggling. It's so mind-boggling that they would rather kill the guy, or they'd rather want this guy guilty for killing the exact, like, I mean, they were probably there for the sake of the looting and for the sake of the drama and the chaos and the conflict. They probably don't give a shit about BLM. In fact, in the trial, one of the witnesses said that one of these people will scream the N-word at someone or something. So It's so weird. To me, it's so weird how they defend these people, but it's because of ignorance. They just follow whatever their hierarchies, their quote unquote hierarchy says. It's not a base hierarchy either. It's just the media and a bunch of, you know, subversive idiots in power that want to subvert us and turn us into a globalist regime that opposes God, which isn't based. Even though I think hierarchy is based and following whatever. Judge to the trial for April 3rd. Oh, that's not relevant. I'm probably guilty for this. Okay, not relevant, not relevant, not relevant. This is all irrelevant bullshit. Do you have anything else? If not, yeah, there's the guilty one. They talk about the judge. They want Kenosha. Alright, we'll just do the judge. Because they hate the judge too. Apparently the judge is like a racist or something. They're like, I heard about this. He has the proud to be American as like his phone ringer. I thought that was great. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come out innocent. I mean, he's got the judge. The judge hates prosecution. Prosecution is done more for the defense than the defense itself. Dare I say that? And the defense is pretty based. So overall, I think that Kyle is very blessed, and not just at the trial. The actual event where he defended himself with the gun being jammed and everything, all the other events, that itself was quite blessed. I think that Kyle is gonna get out of this safely. Um, Maybe with a minor, like, maybe I don't know if he would be guilt. I think he'd be innocent of everything. I don't know, but I'm not worried about the trial itself. I'm just shitting on all the liberals and everyone else shitting on Kyle. Trying to make it look like this is all in their favor. They do this with everything. Everyone does this with everything. Every event, they always cope with it being in their favor. And it's just humorous when they're coping. It's perfect for the right to criticize them and make the left look stupid when they're trying to cope so hard over something that's clearly in our favor. You know, like I said before, they'd be better off ignoring the whole trial and moving on. The fact that they're just fueling the fire, which will end up inevitably not in their favor, is so dumb. If I was the left, I'd be quiet about all of this, and they're not. So this is just perfect for me. They come on here. This is comedy. This is content. They're giving me content for someone like myself who's, good at speaking, good at roasting the shit out of idiots, I guess, to get into power. You know what I mean? They don't want people like me getting into power because they know if I get into power, they're done. Because they know people like me, like Nick, people like in All America First. If we get anywhere close to being in the mainstream relevance of the political sphere, they have nothing. What do they have? They have Vosh. They have what, Destiny? And, I mean, even Destiny to an extent admits that if we AF and any of our leadership gets into power, that the left is done for. So I'm gonna stop going because this could take hours. I mean, look at all this. I'm not gonna go through all of this. I said this before, but if you guys enjoy content like this, give me a topic. I'll go on about it. But be looking forward to a podcast, maybe with Zoomernat. He'll probably put it on his channel. So if you haven't already, I recommend checking out Zoomernat's channel. But that's about it. So you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys whenever. Bye bye.